That seems to be working out so far. But, chat, before we get into that, we got to get into Mandy. Now, I got to ask you this question right now. How many of you have seen Nicolas Cage's Mandy? It's a 2018 film, action, horror film directed by Panos Cosmatos. I guess he's an Italian? An Italian filmmaker, I want to say? Yeah, Italian and Greek filmmaker. He's he's done only one other film called Beyond the Black Rainbow, which I'm not familiar with. Looks just as weird as this film, though, based on the poster alone. How many of you have seen this? That's it, Lola Bunny. I remember that. Yep. Mm-hmm. Ultimate Jackson, never seen it. Never. The dub it's awesome. These graphics. This is the Sonic TV show that had the good theme song. Sure. Yep. I've only heard it once, so I can't really. I haven't gotten in my head yet. Theme Man, haven't seen it. The Shower Lurker, I've seen it, and a full price movie. Actually, Berserker, never seen. Chris, it's the last movie Johansson did. Yes, that's what they actually say in the Wikipedia page. I just read that before I started. She was like, let me go ahead and research some of this stuff before I do my spoiler video. Yes, this apparently was the last one. And that's what I could say, Chad. Like, just kind of give you my general impressions of the movie when it comes to the cinematography, when it comes to the score, and and Nicolas Cage's performance, great. Like, if you this is the kind of movie you just let wash over you the first time you see it, because listen, I got what they were going for in terms of like the message and what it was being. Really, what this film is, chat. It feels like a medieval fantasy, with a lot of H.P. Lovecraft or even Dungeons and Dragons elements layered on top, but it's set in a modern setting, and we're following this individual, Nicolas Cage, who is basically this knight who has been wronged by an evil wizard who took his lovely lady away from him, and he's on a path of vengeance, chat. He's going to kill the monstrous orcs that helped create this situation. Helped kill his lovely lady, and he's going to take on each and every single one of the wizard's followers, defeat them before he gets to the wizard. That's what the movie is. It's revenge. It's a revenge story, but it's using a lot of elements from fantasy. I think that works for it. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. But it has just that really psychedelic LSD, aesthetic layered on top of everything. There's a lot of fucking drug use, and they point out, it's like, there's drugs. Everything's drugs. Then you have a guy who makes fucking LSD, and it's a weird scene. He's like, hey, man, I'm sorry I made the LSD and fucked everything up. I'm sorry that you wronged you, man. You want some LSD? Nicolas Cage is like, yes, I'm just eating all of it, chat. Psychedelic moments, becomes an animated cartoon character, a lot of that. And, so it doesn't have, it's a surprise, it's weird. It's a surprisingly simple story. It really is. My one big criticism of this movie is I think it just indulges a little too much in just just that aesthetic overall. When you're just sitting on a shot the entire time, and characters just kind of staring back and forth at each other, and it's like, okay, you can cut it here. It just feels like and I get it, because it's very beautiful cinematography. There's no doubt about how they set up a scene and just how it looks. It's like, wow, there's so much going on in here, but we can move on from this. I think it takes its time. It takes its time, and it doesn't necessarily need to do so. I think if you had an editor come in there and maybe cut down some on certain scenes, just like, okay, we can move past this. And I think it would have been a lot better paced, personally for me. But overall, really enjoyed the movie. Really enjoyed the movie. That's what I can say. Rocky Birdie, welcome to stream. Happy Monday, Juicy. Happy Monday, Rocky Birdie. Good to see you. Mm-hmm. Jay Cuz, yes, Heavy Metal. Have you guys ever seen the animated film Heavy Metal? There are animated sequences, which, listen, they're throughout the entire film, so I'm not going to cover each one, but they come up during specific scenes. And this film is even like in chapter. It's like a fantasy book. It's much like the book that Nicolas Cage's wife is reading throughout. They're like, what's her name? Hold on. Man, Jesus fucking Christ, her name is Mandy. Jesus, listen. I heard it's the literal name of the movie. That's a derp. That's a derp. That's a derp. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some more whiskey. I'll be right back. Hold on. I need a drink. Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those Okay. I'm good now. Here's to you. Thanks for sticking with me. If I had the Fuck Up Club hat, I would be wearing it right now. Just imagine me with the hat on, Chad. Jesus. Anyway. Basically the novel that Nicolas Cage's wife, who's Mandy, that's his wife's name. Did you know that, Chad? His wife's name is Mandy. She's reading the novel, and she's basically telling the story that we are seeing, except it's modern. It's like, okay, I get it. It's actually fairly simple. You know, it's just straightforward. Just indulges a little too much, and you can kind of like cut a little bit. My opinion, personal opinion. But, Chad, let's go ahead, and we're going to get right into it. So this is somewhere, apparently in a place called the Shadow Mountains, which already, the Shadow Mountains, Chad, that sounds like something from a fantasy novel, like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Let's see where the Shadow Mountains actually are. Apparently it's somewhere in Southern California, chat. Just looks weird and otherworldly, apparently there. Multiple planets and suns and moons and shit. Roving motorcycle gangs who look like orcs, chat. But that's where the Shadow Mountains are. And it's 1983, chat, and we're following Nicolas Cage, and he's a lumberjack. But he's kind of, he's been through a lot in his life. Get the impression he's gone through a lot, that he was a veteran, that he was an alcoholic, chat. The movie just opens up with this, again, beautiful sequence. We're just looking at all this amazing scenery and psychedelic stuff, and we're seeing Nicolas Cage. He's cutting down these trees. And this Nicolas Cage just looks like he just bought a castle, and he is heavily in debt. And it's like, Jesus, I'm just not feeling great about myself. But at least I'm going to be going home to my wife. He can't even get to his wife via car chase. He's got to get into a helicopter with everybody else. And they're all like, well, that was a fucking rough week, guys. And they just immediately start drinking, chat, on the helicopter. Which I don't think you should do when you're on the helicopter, immediately start drinking. And they're just fucking pounding beers back, and they're offering Nicolas Cage. He's like, no. And that's when you know, it's like, okay. So clearly he doesn't drink anymore. Or maybe he just has, good self-preservation instincts, chat. Because I probably wouldn't drink on a helicopter either. Let's not do that. I think he'd be more prone to crashing if the fucking pilot's drunk. So I think he was fucking drinking too. And so, chat, down the helicopter lands, and Nicolas Cage, he goes home, and we're introduced to his wife. Chat, let me check the name one more time. Let me check the name more. It is in fact Mandy. It is in fact Mandy, just to let you know. The wife's name is in fact Mandy, chat. Might forget it. And you can already get a sense that, okay, she is just as damaged as Nicolas Cage is. Because she's very sheltered. She seems to be very shy, but she is incredibly creative. She spends most of her days reading various novels. Everything from fantasy novels to science to the cosmos itself. And and she's an incredible artist too. Like, she does all these paintings and these drawings, and Nicolas Cage sees that. And you could tell, like, even though they have their various issues, and they go in them throughout the rest of the film, especially in the first, I'd say, 35 to 40 minutes, it's pretty much them and some other people, which we'll get to, but them just interacting with each other, and you get the sense, like, these people have been through a lot in the past, but despite their kind of tragic circumstances of the past. Josh, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, my man. Welcome to stream. Oh, congratulations, Bari, I. Thompson, Silva King Hype, Midwest Macabre, and Ultron Unlimited. You are now the proud owners of 5 new emotes, including Mr. Evan Yay, Mr. Evan Hype, Mr. Evan Low, Mr. Evan Rage, and the one which should be used throughout the rest of the stream, Mr. Evan Durf. Thank you again, Josh. Thank you. Jay Cuz, South Californian local here. Description sounds pretty accurate. All right, hey man, we got one. Do you have roaming motorcycle gangs of orcs too? Because I would buy it, man. The movie sells you on that. Tune down, welcome to stream. I'm doing well, man. Making a fool of myself, talking about movies, but I'm doing very well. I need a fucking refill too. I need it. That's who it is, Chris Ayers. Yeah, Andrea Risborough. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Very unusual look. Very unusual look. Again, thank you so much, Josh. Welcome to the Rev Nights, guys. Enjoy your new emote. There they are. There's the emotes. But, so you already get the sense that these people came from very tragic past. But because of the tragedy that surrounded them when they were younger and what they obviously did, that brought them together. And now they're here. And you get the sense that they just love each other. Like, I even just like the scenes. They go on a little too long. But you just have Nicolas Cage and Mandy just in bed. And, she's asking him about his day. He's like, fucking cut down trees. It is what it is. But he's always like, well, what did you do? Because she's the one, like, even though he has to go out there, he's got to earn the cash and everything like that. Mandy, she gets to really, express herself, and she goes on about like the planets and things. It's like, oh, my favorite planet is Jupiter, and she describes it, and we kind of see like visions of different worlds and things like that in the background, what the film's like perception of those worlds will be. Nicolas Cage talks about Saturn, and then a little key moment, because Nicolas Cage, you could also tell there's a little bit of improv here, because it's not and I think this is fine here, it's not a fluid conversation. It just feels like, hey, let's see what you guys do just with improv, and maybe we can cobble together. And so this, to me, just felt like, let's just talk about planets and see where this goes. Because Nicolas Cage brings in some comic book stuff. He's like, no, I want to change my mind. No, my favorite planet is Galactus. And she's like, that's not a planet. And he says, yeah, but he eats planets and it's pretty cool. And it's like, okay, this is cool. I like that you established this really unique dynamic between these two characters. And again, you bind in their weird chemistry, but it works. You understand, and she goes into her history. It's like, yeah, but when I was a kid, my dad was very abusive. He beat me and my mother and my siblings. She talks about how her and the neighborhood kids, these neighborhood kids found like a nest of starlings, I believe, like baby starling birds, and they just beat them to death with a stick. And Nicolas Cage is like, Jesus. And they're like watching TV during all this too. And he's like, rubbing her head. It's like, oh, that's nice. And she's like, what did you do? And she said, I just watched. And then, we have various other scenes, chat, of her walking through a forest and seeing a newly born deer that was born with his intestines on the outside. It's like a lot of that kind of trippy shit. Okay? And it's like that kind of stuff. It's like, you could have cut that out. That was not necessary. I was just fine with them talking to each other, and her telling the story about the starlings. I didn't need to see her walking through the forest and coming up before a deer, which I get, it's the sacrificial lamb type of thing. It was a thing that was sacrificed. Nature rejected it, kind of the same way where Nicolas Cage and Mandy were rejected by society, but they found each other. Now they're happy. It's like, I get what you're doing. I get what you're saying. But it's like, I don't need that. I don't need that visual. It's fine. But still, really enjoy it. Captain, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Shaykos, I love his performance in this much more... no, I agree with you. I'm right there with you. I think he's much better here than in Color Out of Space. I feel like in Color Out of Space, he was too exaggerated before the meteorite got there. I was like, okay, you're just goofy. Nicolas Cage is not necessary. Here, thank you, Darkseid, for the 5 biddies. Ashtray, but yes, that review is up, by the way, on Fall from Grace. The added version is now on my YouTube channel, Class in a Glass. Please go ahead and check it out. No, I'm gonna say he's more subdued here in the beginning of the film. Like, no, he's not later on. He's fucking nuts. He's the Nicolas Cage you want later on in the rest of the 2/3 of the movie. But I'd say the first half hour, he's very subdued, and I like that. That's why you buy in the relationship. Meanwhile, chat, while Mandy, she was just off walking someday on the side of the road. She has like a job. I think she has a part-time job at a convenience store, so that brings in a little money, and she's able to out among people and things. It's like, okay, it's fine. Again, she's very, very shy though. But a guy in a truck just passes by her, like in this, not a Winnebago, but it's like one of those it's like a minivan, a very enlarged minivan, chat. And this person is a Jeremiah Sand, chat, and he's a cult leader, and he is fucking weird, and he has his people, and he's just, who just worship him and is everywhere, even though he just talks shit to them. He has this one individual, this old lady, who's obviously, they all love him to various degrees, but this old lady in particular she just worships him. She's like, I'll fucking suck your dick. Like, that's all she wants. She just wants to pleasure him, and he's like, shut up. You're useless. You're terrible at everything. Don't say you're sorry for everything. Just shut up. And she just fucking takes it, chat, like all these people do. And he's like, he's all fucking laying down, and they're all doing drugs on LSD and everything. And he's like, I saw this girl, and I need her. God called out to me. Jesus called out to me, and we just need her. We need her for our following, for whatever insane reason. He's like, I need to have her. And old lady's like, go get me Brother Swan. And Brother Swan comes in. Again, this middle-aged, very milquetoast looking guy, easily susceptible to manipulation, which all these people are. He comes in there, he's just fucking, oh my God, Father Sand, thank you for seeing me. He's like, I know I can always count on you, Brother Swan. I need your help. You need to bring me the girl. We need her for our church, so we can spread the word of me. And he's like, I'll help you out, man. Of course, he's cursing. He gives him. Then he's like, go get the conch or the stone or whatever it is. It's like it looks like it's the Ocarina of Time, chat, from Zelda. He gives him the Ocarina of Time, and he goes, here, take that, summon the riders. And and then Brother Swan's like, okay, I guess I can do that. But they're gonna need something in return. The riders, we don't even know what the riders are. They sound ominous already. And he's like, all right, you, Brother Swan, just give him the fat one. Give him the fat kid. And we cut to this kid. It looks like the fat kid from Bad Santa, chat. I don't know if it's the same actor. But they just cut to him. He's just sitting there eating pudding, I think. And Brother Swan's like, yeah, they'll take him. They like him a little thick, and they all start laughing. And then Brother Swan, he just goes out, chap. He goes out. He takes some of his followers with him to do his thing. And we cut back to Nicolas Cage and Mandy, and they're just eating dinner. They're watching like old sci-fi films from the '60s, terrible. And they're eating their steak and their mashed potatoes. But they're having a good time. And then they go to bed. Meanwhile, chat, we cut back to Brother Swan, and he rolls up, I guess, somewhere in the vicinity of the what they call it, the Shadow Mountains. And he's like, all right, you guys wait here, and I'm going to blow in the Ocarina of Time. He fucking blows in this thing, chat, and all this mist starts to gather, but it's like, okay, I'm going to go back in the car because it's fucking cold outside. And so he goes back in there, chat, and then look, the other followers, too, they're just fucking morons. They got this one guy just like, just playing with the window. But this one's like, God, this guy's so stupid. Like, in the back of the truck. Oh, no, what happened? I know what happened. I missed the scene. Before he does that, because, Brother Swan's too intimidated to go and get, fight Nicolas Cage and get Mandy. The old woman, she, I think, also investigates, and she goes to the diner where, or not the diner, the convenience store where Mandy works. And that's when they figure out, okay, that's where Mandy lives, and then we're going to call the Black Riders the Ocarina of Time to come in. That's where we are now, Jeff. And then Mandy, she's reading the book, basically, The Wizard, basically telling us it's the fantasy version of the story that we're about to see. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing. Then we cut back to Brother Swan, Conch, gets back in the car, and then these fucking guys on ATVs just roll up, chat, and they're going, they sound like orcs from Lord of the Rings, and they look like the Cenobites from Hellraiser. It's all fucking hot black leather, chat, all wrapped around their bodies and everything, huge spikes and nails coming out of their heads, out of their motorcycle helmets, out of their, their shoulder pads, knee pads, everything. And fucking Brother Swan, he's like, fuck. He just gets out, chat, and I guess the leader of the I think they're called the Black Riders, pretty much, chat. And he kind of goes up to him, and this guy is like, I have this for you. And it's just a fucking jar of LSD, chat. It's like a jar this big. It looks like jism, chat. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It looks just like a big old hockin' jar of jism. And he's like, thank you very much. And this thing just starts downing it, and you can, it's delicious to him. And he's like, you owe us blood for blood. And Brother Swan's like, we know, but you gotta get our thing first, and then we'll pay you. Then we'll do the blood for blood. And these fucking Black Riders, after they share in the LSD jism, they just fucking roll up on Nicolas Cage's house. They beat the shit out of Nicolas Cage. They beat the shit out of Mandy. And then Brother Sam and his cult, they just roll. And and so they're like, okay, we're done. And then they just give him the fat kid. They give him the fat kid from Bad Santa. And he goes, no! He's just dragged off into the mist. It's like, ooh, that was bad. No, what are they going to do to him? We'll find out. Well, at least it's implied what they might do to him. And so now Brother Swan's kind of taken over Nicolas Cage's domicile. He gets the old lady and also the young lady who clearly does not want to fucking be there, chap, and she was tricked into this whole cult thing. And they're starting to drug. Well, the first thing they have Nicolas Cage all tied up in barbed wire, beating the shit out of him. And then Mandy, they got her in the kitchen, and the old woman, because she's jealous of Mandy, so she's just fucking hitting Mandy in the face. Because she doesn't like that she's getting all the attention. She's like, she wants the attention from Brother Sam, but she's too old, chat. She's too old. And Brother Sam doesn't need all that. And so he's like, okay, well, we have to prepare her for Brother Sam, or Father Sam, excuse me. And so they put like I guess it's LSD, I don't know what, some type of drug into her eye, and that, makes her all woozy and shit, and hear different things and see different things. And then they get to this jar, chat. And in that fucking jar is this weird pickled wasp, this giant pickled wasp, which is still alive somehow. And they just fucking take this thing over and they kind of tapping on its little belly, its little thorax shit, and the fucking Stinner comes out and they poke Mandy with it. So she's on a lot of hallucinogens right now. And then they prepare for Father Sam. And they sit her down and get all the weird trippy shit, and Father Sam is talking about all this nonsense, like I'm the voice of God. These are my followers. Love me. Hey, I prepared a record for you. I did an album. We hear his music chat. It is shit. It's very bizarre. It's like some 70s folk music. It's like this is it's all this weird colors and shadow and imagery just popping up on the screen the entire time, chat. And then, Father Sam's like, okay, well, now that I did all that, let me present the goods. And he just fucking he's wearing this really shitty, almost like robe, chat, with these puffed up shoulder pads. And he's like, oh, I'm done talking, let's get to the sex. And he just fucking derobes shit. He's got a big old pot belly. And he's got his flaccid dick is just, hey, dick and balls, Jeff. Flaccid dick and balls just hanging out right out there. And Mandy just starts laughing at him. He's like, stop it! Stop laughing at me! Shut up! And just screaming. And he's like, shut up! Don't look at me! Don't look at my tiny penis! And they're all like, oh, sorry. Well, look at your tiny penis, sir. And he just fucking starts freaking out, chat. And they take Mandy away. And then, Father Sam, he's like, well, she laughed at my tiny penis. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? He's just saying this into the mirror over and over and over again until I guess he gets enough confidence, chat, restores his self-esteem, and he's like, yeah, let's just fucking burn the bitch. Let's just do that. And so he goes outside, chat, where we have Nicolas Cage, again, tied up with barbed wire, gagged with barbed wire. It's like, jeez, that's really painful. And he just starts, basically, okay, listen. Your wife laughed at my tiny penis. We're gonna burn her alive because she laughed at it. But I'm gonna do this whole spiel because I'm like Jesus, because I'm like better than Jesus. So because he wasn't forward thinking enough. It's like, I have to do the whole, sacrifice thing, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do that for you. And and then he pulls out this big old hawking knife, and he just stabs in the same way that Jesus was stabbed in the cross, chat. When it penetrates his right rib. And that stabs him right there. And it goes, so it fucking hurts, obviously. He goes deep in there, he cleans it off. It's some sacred ceremonial knife. I don't know. And then they take it away. And then, chat, they bring out Mandy, and she's in a big burlap sack. And they just, Father Sam just starts throwing gasoline on this thing, and he gets a lighter, and it just goes up. And Nicolas Cage is watching this, and he's just screaming or trying. He's gagging, Chad. He's, just spittle down his face, eyes bugging out, just tears down his eyes. He's watching his wife burn alive in a burlap sack, and these guys are just laughing and partying, except the one girl. The young girl, she's just like, this is fucked up. Oh, there's also another scene, chat, before he even stabs Nicolas Cage in his side, to prove, how much his followers love him, they don't think his dick is small. He uses the young girl to show, it's like, this is how much they love me. So he fucking does, a Russian roulette thing with her, where he puts a single bullet in the gun, and he, cocks it, and, spins the thing. And then she gives her the gun, and then she puts her in her head, and, she's freaked out, obviously, and then she, pulls the trigger, nothing happens. She goes, oh, Jesus. See, that's how much they love me, Nicolas Cage. Don't think my dick is small. And then after the whole spiel, chat, they burn Mandy. And then they're like, all right, we're going to get the fuck out of here. See you, Nicolas Cage. Thinking he's just going to die, chat. But old Nick Cage, not Cosmic Cage. He's got that rage built up inside of him now. And you should have killed him. You should have put him down. And then this is cool, chat, because it's actually true. Nicolas Cage, he uses his own blood from his wrists, because it's cutting into his wrists and his arms, to basically squeeze out of the barbed wire. It's like, oh, it's painful. And you can see, and this is good acting Nicolas Cage. He looks like he's in horrific pain. But because his arms are so slick, he's able to slip out. He takes the barbed wire gag out of his mouth. He goes over to his wife, what's left of her, just ash. Her head's kind of still there, like a part of her shoulder and arm. But basically, that not much. He fucking touches the head. He feels the glow of the heat from it. Very beautiful, very tragic. And then, Chad, he fucking goes off. He goes back in the house, and he's just in his... And again, just to show... I like this, because Nicolas Cage, he's a badass in this movie, there's no doubt, but they also show you how vulnerable he is, because he just looks like a suburban dad. He's in his tighty whities. He's obviously, he's a little chubby. He's got a little bit of a tummy. And he's just, walking in there, he's crying. And I think at one point, I think he goes to bed, and he passes out, and he dreams of his wife, and he sees her die again. I think he also sees there's also various scenes of animated Mandy in which she's doing very heavy metal. These are the heavy metal scenes in the chat. And he fucking wakes up and he just starts fucking screaming his ass off and just running around the house. He goes to the bathroom where they keep, apparently that's where Mandy keeps the liquor, and that she only drinks it herself. But he goes in and he just starts fucking downing a bottle of vodka. And they just let Nicolas Cage, you do you, boo. And he just did just screaming, crying, laughing, chat. He's pouring the alcohol on himself because that's where he was stabbed, like on his wrist. He's like, like it's all burning. He sits down the toilet. Just screaming, just pure fucking Nicolas Cage rage. Unadulterated Nicolas Cage rage, chat. And he's like, all right. And he basically downs a good, almost like 3/4 of the bottle, chat, is gone. He's got like about a quart left. He just pours it on his hands. Like, all right, I'm done. I'm good. Got to get motivated. And so, he goes, he takes his car, chat, and he goes to his good old war veteran buddy, played by the guy, Duke. I believe it was Duke from Predator. What's his name? Damn it. Bill. No, it's Bill Duke. It's Bill Duke. And so he goes to Bill Duke, who actually, I guess, also played Duke in Predator. Anyway, in any case, maybe that's just the actor. I'm confusing the actor's name for the character from Predator. But it's Bill Duke, chat. And, you know, Bill Duke, he's isolated himself. He doesn't want any visitors, but he sees Nicolas Cage. He's like, oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? Nicolas Cage is fucking in blood, chat. Clearly injured, clearly pissed off. He's like, I've come for it. What do they call him? Oh, shit, what's the crossbow's name? I already forgot. What's the crossbow's name? Damn it. The Reaper. I've come for the Reaper. And Bill Duke's like, I got it ready for you, man. He goes inside the trailer. He's got like a double trailer, chat. It's like combined 2 trailers together. Cut like one hole out of it and combined them. It was weird. But he goes in there, he shows the Reaper crossbow, chat, in perfect condition. Looks like it was just oiled. And he's like, yeah, man, I keep care of that. I've been keeping care of that since the day you gave it to me. And, you know, if you look on the shelf there, I also made you some black arrows. And he's like, I'm going to need these black arrows. I'm sure you will. What are you gonna do with that? I'm just like, I'm gonna be hunting. What are you gonna be hunting? Nicolas Cage getting this fucking freak. So I'm gonna kill these fucking Jesus freaks, man. They killed my wife. They burned her. Why is she burned? And we don't know. You know, he doesn't understand yet, chat. And like, I was like, okay, I'm sorry about that. And like, you know, Bill Duke, he feels very sorry for Nicolas Cage's situation. You know, he may not have known Mandy, but he was good for Nicolas Cage. He went through a very rough time years ago, and he found someone he liked. And Bill Duke cares for him. He's like, all right, we need any help. And, you know, Nicolas Cage's like, there's these motorcycle guys. They're like these Black Runners. Oh, the Black Runners. Oh, we know all about them. They've been preying on the countryside for years. And he gives the origin of the Black Runners, chat. Apparently, they were just a motorcycle gang, like doing hits and robberies and burglaries and things, murdering people, all that. But apparently, this chemist, they robbed him or they stole his stash or something, and it was like this untreated LSD, and they just drank all of it, and they just changed. Their physiology changed, like everything about them. They basically became orcs, chat. They literally turned to orcs. And, you know, like, they just liked it. They liked what they became. They looked like fucking orc Cenobites. And like, Nicolas Cage, I'm gonna kill them all. I was like, Bill Duke, I'm sure you will. And then, chat, we get some very beautiful shots of Nicolas Cage driving at night. He's got, like, a red light in back of him. It's illuminating the woods and the mist. It's so cool. Again, the cinematography in this movie is amazing. I love it. And then he manages to track him down somehow. He just tracks him, I guess, just follow the wake of destruction, I suppose. And I think because he finds out they frequent this one road, I guess, and he holds up on a hill, and he sees like there's like I think there's like 5 of them all together. There's 5, and he lets the 4 in front kind of go. But there's like a little straggler. I guess he's the littlest one. I don't know if he's the littlest one, but he's one of them. He's the one in back, and he's got a fucking beat on, and he fires that goddamn crossbow, the black crossbow arrow, chat. And it hits him, and he fucking falls off, but he's still alive. He's like an orc. He's an orc goblin Cenobite. And so he's kind of like, what the fuck was that? And then Nicolas Cage, he just gets back in his fucking car, and he just starts right towards this guy, chat. Like 80 miles per hour right towards this guy on a dirt road. The fucking Cenobite goblin, he gets up, he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, starts shooting Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage just fucking hits him. And I thought, he's gonna like explode or something, but no. Like the orc guy, apparently he hit him so hard that he just vanished. Like, I mean, he died. He definitely died, chat. But the car is like, that was a whole lot of mass we hit, and the car just fucking flips over. Again, these are super powered Cenobite orcs with a lot of LSD in their system, chat. And so he's dead, but he just turned into nothing. And the car flips over, chat. Nicolas Cage, he's kind of fucked up. He passes out. He wakes up in, I guess, the current domicile, the current home of the Cenobite orcs. And we got the littlest one, who looks very Pinhead-esque. And not like the pins or anything, but he's very slim. He's very slim, chat. And he's just doing something weird. Nicolas Cage is like, I can't move my hand. His fucking hand is nailed into a piece of wood on the floor, chat. And his other hand is handcuffed. He's like, oh, fuck. And this thing comes over to him, chat. And it's talking to him and trying to talk. It's all garbled speak. Again, it's supposed to be orc-like speech. There's some English there, but not enough to where Nicolas... Oh, also, chat, I forgot. Before Nicolas Cage went out to kill these other guys, he also made this fucking awesome axe. It's like this double-bladed axe weapon, and like there's a little axe on one end, another axe on one end. It looks heavy, but he fucking wielding this thing. But he has that, and he has that in his car too. Looks badass. He makes all these weapons, chat. He does. It's a very Ash versus Evil Dead like his suit up. He even has like this specific like shirt, this like jersey on. I think it's like 77. And, you know, Cenobite clearly is like, oh, that clearly is your favorite show. I'm just going to start cutting it. And he cuts the skin. He's like, Nicolas Cage's like, whoa, stop it. And the guy's like, why you want me? Am I hurting? He was like, that's my favorite shirt. And the guy says, blah! And he's like, he goes to swipe at Nicolas Cage one more time. Nicolas Cage, though, apparently using that cosmic cage rage, he breaks out of the handcuff chair. He grabs the bar. The handcuff is connected. He rips out of the goddamn wall. He fucking hits this guy. And there's also seems to be just a bottomless fucking pit. I guess, no, to his left. To his left. There's a bottomless pit to his left. And so he whacks him. That thing just fucking falls in the bottomless pit, chat. And he's there. So I guess he's dead. Then he goes upstairs, chat. And he realizes, okay, look, I guess this is just a place that they've taken over because this was a family home. He sees the wife and husband dead in bed. The husband, chat, looked like he was raped to death. His ass has been... looks like just penetrated repeatedly. It looks bad. He's bleeding out of his ass. The wife doesn't look any better. And then he starts just walking around. He hears something just fucking going to town, Chad. He hears porn. He hears some porn. He sees it on TV screen. That there's like 70s porn, Jay. You could tell because everyone's got a lot of hair. Got a lot of hair everywhere. And the thing that's watching it, Chad, is one of the orc Cenobites, and it's just snuffing a whole bunch of cocaine, Chad. Just it's like a Tony Montana Scarface level of mountain of cocaine, and it's just no face deep in this shit, just snorting it all up. And it cuts to like just the front of this thing, and it has basically a Bowie knife attached to its groin. And it's slicked with blood, and so like this thing clearly raped the wife and husband to death with this thing. Clearly very recently. And it's like, fuck. There's a lot going on here. A lot going on in this scene. But the thing, as soon as the orc Cenobite looks up, and he sees Nicolas Cage's reflection in the thing. Nicolas Cage, I think he does he have the cross? No, not yet. Nicolas Cage like throws something at him. It's like too late. And him and the orc guy with the knife crotch, they start fighting, chat. And fucking the Cenobite orc just tries to basically thrust into Nicolas Cage. Like when he gets him on the ground, he's just trying to thrust into Nicolas Cage. Like but he misses Nicolas Cage, chat. He misses Nicolas Cage, and I think he dies somehow. I forget what he uses. It must be a knife of some kind. But the giant, the orc Cenobite, that thing dies. Another orc Cenobite shows up, and Nicolas Cage, I believe, kills him in some way. I don't remember. A lot was happening in the scene, chat. I was still on the fact that this orc Cenobite had a knife penis, and it raped this elderly couple to death. So I don't remember all the details right here. So he killed one guy, and then he's just fucking walking around. He's like, okay, that was a little too much excitement. And he starts to find all this stuff, Chad. He finds the Reaper. He finds the black arrows. He finds his axe, chat. Oh, he also takes he also sees like little cocaine on the floor, chat, like a little piece of glass. And Nicolas Cage just goes like a huge, just like a pile of cocaine. So Nicolas Cage, he's high in the cocaine now, chat. It's like, oh boy. And then he kind of goes to the kitchen. That's where he finds the rest of his stuff, chat. After he killed he takes the cocaine first after he killed the guys. Then he finds his stuff. And then, chat, he sees the jar of LSD jism, and he's like, why not? When in Rome, and he takes a little bit of his finger, chat, and then he just everything, all the colors, all the worlds, everything is just in front of Nicolas Cage. He sees himself 2 feet in front of himself, chat, just crazy shit, and he is just all pupils. His pupils have taken over his entire eye socket, chat. And he's just, and he's fucking going, he might as well be going Super Saiyan. I thought, like, after the cocaine and the LSD and just Nicolas Cage's general anger, that he would just go Super Saiyan here right now. Like, even Super Saiyan 2. And so he fucking walks out, chat, and he sees, like, down the hill, his car's being set on, is on fire, and I guess the leader of the Cenobites, the last one that's alive of the Cenobite orcs, is just fucking standing there watching the fire. Nicolas Cage goes, well, fuck it. Takes out the crossbow, fires at him. Thing goes through the Cenobite orc's neck, and the thing doesn't move. And Nicolas Cage says, what the fuck? And Cenobite goes, oh. And it proceeds to take out the crossbow bolt from his neck and just gushing blood. Just gushing blood, chat. And he throws it on the ground and keeps watching the fire. It's, okay, I'm like, okay. That's clearly the leader of the orcs. Nicolas Cage just goes down there, and he's got his big old axe, and the Cenobite orc's like, oh, how you doing? Oh, you killed my guys, didn't you? You son of a bitch. And then this is the Cenobite orc that has, like, the most amount of vocabulary. Like, he can actually speak English rather well. And he just tells him, you know what? She's still burning. And that fucking sets Nicolas Cage off. Mandy's still burning. Fuck you. And then they start wrestling, Chad. They start wrestling. And eventually, Nicolas Cage gets the upper hand, obviously. He fucking stabs him, throws the Cenobite orc into the fire. And he's burning. Haha. So he got a little comeuppance. And he's fucking flailing around. Nicolas Cage just brings down the big old axe on his head. Decapitates him, chap. Decapitates him. And just for good measure, for extra insult to injury, Chad, Nicolas Cage needs a smoke. And that's his one vice even before all this stuff started. He's like, yeah, he doesn't drink anymore. Trying to get better care of himself, take good care of his wife, but he needs a cigarette every once in a while. And he proceeds to go over to the flaming head, chat, and he lights his cigarette in fire. Oh, that's what I needed. And then he gets on the ATV, Chad. He's like, I'm still not done killing. Because he also found out apparently the location of the Jesus freaks of Father Santa, his follower Shan. He just fucking goes off. Am I need to catch anybody up on this? Are we good? Are we still good where we are? He wants that vitamin C rage. And so then we get, again, a lot of amazing cinematography, chat, a lot of beautiful shots of him on this ATV, all like different like reds and yellows and the forest and these tunnels. Again, really incredible to look at. Like, you just put this movie on silent, watch him in distance, it's like, it's very, very pretty. And so eventually he gets to like a quarry type area. Oh no, he visits I know what happens here. So after he killed those guys, he tracks down the chemist. This is why I don't remember this scene, because it's like, this is fucking weird. He goes to this chemist who I guess is the one who created the LSD jism that the orcs consumed. And I guess he also supplies Father Sand with LSD and drugs for his followers and for their human sacrifices. The fucking chemist is a tiger. And I don't know. This guy was the Tiger King before the Tiger King, chat, apparently. And the chemist, again, it's all weird, all echoey voices, everything's just slowed down. And the chemist is, I was gonna grab my gun here, but old Zira, I think he's the name the tiger is. I forgot the name of the tiger, chat. But Zira, she didn't, set off. She'd be freaking out normally, but no, man, you're special. You're special, man. And the tiger just, Lizzie, the tiger's name is Lizzie. And he just lets the tiger go. The tiger just runs away. All right. And he's like, oh, you're here for Father Sand. They wronged you, man. I could tell just by looking. Nicolas Cage not saying a goddamn. We're just caked in blood, chat. Caked in blood, cocaine, LSD jism, everything. He's just staring at the Tiger King right now. And Tiger King's like, I was like, is this guy gonna die? I mean, I guess he kind of didn't have anything to do with what happened, but it's kind of an enabler too. He created a lot of the things that fucked up Nicolas Cage's life. But anyway, he says, hey, here's where they are, man. Go and get them. And Nicolas Cage, I guess, he doesn't kill him, and he leaves. And more beautiful cinematography, chat, all that. A lot of wonderful landscapes, cake, just enveloped in reds and yellows and purples and things. Brilliant. And then he goes to this quarry, where he finds, is it a tunnel here? I guess, no, I think, again, I'm trying to remember the specifics of this sequence here, Chase. It's the last part of the movie. And I guess it's like, there's a specific building, and there's a very long tunnel, and then it opens up to a larger quarry area. Let's go with that. And so he comes to this area, he sees that there's a car there, it's the same car that Brother Swan was driving, so he sets up a trap, because they obviously need to go in and out for supply. Sets up a trap, chat. Brother Swan, he's in there with the young girl. He fucking drives over the spikes in the ground. He's like, what the hell? And then fucking Nicolas Cage, he just comes up behind Brother Swan, fucking drop kicks him, chat, to a tree, and Brother Swan, he just starts talking all that shit. Hey man, better, what's his line? Better to burn brightly than fade away. And then Nicolas Cage just goes, fuck that, and he just slowly goes, I'm gonna make you fade away. And he just slowly, he takes the end of his axe, does double axe, chat, like there's a pointy end, and he just proceeds to insert it ever so slowly into Brother Swan's mouth, chat. And he's just breaking all the teeth, and he's just jamming this thing up, and he's going, pump, 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 until it's all punctured and just fucking blood just splurting out of his nose and mouth at this point. And he's just drowning in himself, but that thing is going inside of him, chat. And it's slow, just pump, pump every time. Until finally he puts one big one, and it just caves in, he takes it out, and blah, everything. And the girl's just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And Nicolas Cage just looks at her, chat, and he just vanishes. He pulls a fucking Batman. He just walks away. He walks away into the distance. So I guess he spared the girl because he knew she didn't want to be there. She was just stuck there. So the young girl, she survived. She survived. Better to burn out than fade away. That's right. That's right, Stranger Shoe. And so then I think Nicolas Cage takes the ATV, goes down the tunnel, there's two guys out there. One is working on a car, very fancy car. It's like he's obsessed with it. He's washing it, chat. He's like meticulously looking at it. He's doing a little spit on there. He's like, gotta get that extra sheen. And then the fucking axe comes out of nowhere, chat, and it hits him directly in the middle of his eyes. Just boom, and he's just fucking down, chat. And he was like one of the weird ones. He was one of the weird cult members who was like playing with the fucking window. He was one of the dumb ones, chat. And laid out that window. He's dead. And then, chat, we see one of the other guys is like outside this church, this like wooden church, and he's just doing a little wood carving. Nicolas Cage, he sees him. He's like, I'm not gonna use the axe. I'm gonna go ahead and use this chainsaw. And then he just starts walking towards the guy, just revving up this chainsaw. We just can't rev it up. He just can't get it. And then the guy sees him coming. He's like, oh, I know where you are. Yeah, I'm gonna get my chainsaw. And then he has this fucking chainsaw, and it's 3 times as long. You know, overcompensating a little bit, chat. 3 times as long as Nicolas Cage's chainsaw. And this guy already has it revved up. And him and Nicolas Cage, they have a chainsaw duel. Raging Cosmic Cage is a chainsaw duel with a goddamn hick who has like the gums, the biggest gums you ever seen, chat, and they're just chainsaw dueling. Nicolas Cage finally gets his chainsaw working, and they're just dueling now. At one point, and the guy's obviously a lot bigger than Nicolas Cage, the Mr. Gums. He manages to get Nicolas Cage's chainsaw knocked out. Nicolas Cage has knocked that guy's chainsaw out, and they start wrestling on the ground. At one point, Nicolas, he kind of kicks Mr. Gums out of the way, and then Nicolas Cage, he's kind of like, he's fucked up, so he's kind of like crawling on the ground. Mr. Gums, he gets out, he takes Nicolas Cage's little chainsaw, he's coming right at him, chat. And meanwhile, Mr. Gums' super long chainsaw is like directly in front of him, like perfectly down the middle, like the length of Mr. Gums. And Nicolas Cage just goes, well, fuck that. He goes ahead, he grabs his big old chain, and he just starts swinging around his head, and he swings at the guy, and it wraps around his neck, and Nicolas Cage just pulls him right down, and then crotch first, chat, he falls into this, dick and balls first, falls into this chainsaw, and it just slowly cuts him down the middle, all the way. He's just like the entire time. And Mr. Gums is no more. He doesn't have any more gums, chat. He doesn't have any gums, so he's dead. Then Nicholas, again, more beautiful shots of scenery. We go into the church, chat. It looks like it was just newly constructed because they're basically building lumber for this church. It's clearly Father Sands's, his holy ground, his holy location. He goes inside the church, chat. He sees a tunnel. It looks like it was built under a fallout shelter / mine. He goes throughout all these different tunnels. He finds this one little alcove where the last, other than the young girl, but the last surviving member of Father Sand's cult is the old woman, and she's there. She's just sitting on a chair, like really ratty chair with like a beach scenery pinned behind her. It's very odd, and she's just talking to herself, mumbling. And she just walks over. Nicolas Cage just walks over to her, and she embraces Nicolas Cage. She's like, I can I didn't do it. I wasn't responsible for it. You know, I can get you to him. I can get you to him. Like I know everything about him. I know every sexual position he likes. It's like, okay, I don't really need to hear this. Nicolas Cage is not even listening, chat. And then, chat, we cut to Father Sand, and he's in his little tighty whities, and he's just on this wall. And he's just, like, kind of praying, it looks like, chat. And you hear someone coming behind him. He's like, this is a holy place. I'm speaking to God. Get out of here. And he turns around. And he doesn't even turn around, chat. He does turn around. When he turns around, the fucking head, the severed head of the old woman hits him at his legs. He goes, ah! And he starts freaking out, chat. And he sees this Nicolas Cage come out of the dark like Batman. And then Father Sand, he's like, this is a holy ground. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. And Nicolas Cage, he just fucking walks right up to him. There's a whole bunch of dialogue exchange. This is the most important piece of dialogue. Nicolas Cage, he just grabs on this guy's head right here. He has him neatly. The guy's like on his knees. Like Father Sand's on his knees, chat. Nicolas Cage is holding his head. And then Father Sand says, come on, man. Please don't kill me. I'll suck your dick, man. I'll fucking I'll suck you dry, man. Dick and balls and everything. It's like, oh my God. But then Father Sand goes, I'm kind of making a fool of myself. And he hypes himself. I was like, no, I'm not going to suck your dick and balls, man. I'm God. I'm the voice of God. I'm Jesus Christ, eternal, man. You kneel to me, motherfucker. You kneel to me. And then Nicolas Cage, getting his voice, he sounds like the orcs now, chat. He sounds like the Cenobite orcs, and he just says, I'm your God now. And the guy in Father Sand's like, ah! And Nicolas Cage just fucking crushes his head. Just pops his head, chat. And the effect doesn't look great, but I understand the intention. Fucking eyeball pops out. Blood gushes out of Father Sand's ears. And then Nicolas Cage is caked in blood and everything, chat. He just fucking walks out. He walks out of the church. He goes to the fancy car that the one guy was working on, the one he beamed with the fucking axe between the eyes. He just sits in there, chat, and then we get this scene right here, which I showed you. That's from the end of the movie. He was looking fucking nuts. And the person he sees sitting next to him is his wife. Who, again, is clearly not there. He's hallucinating a chat. But then he has a flashback sequence where I think, at least I read it as a flashback sequence, to where they first met, maybe. It looked like it was when they were at a halfway house or something. I could be wrong here. I mean, I needed some more clarification. Glee, welcome to stream. It's Mandy. It's Mandy, man. Obviously. And then he just dries off. And then I think we hear Mandy's narration come in here. And it's the passage of the book that she was reading in the convenience store. And we see that the environment she's describing is now the environment that Nicolas Cage sees. It's like all these different worlds in the sky, these alien-looking mountains and crags and valleys, and just everything is shrouded in reds and purples and yellows, chat. And then it ends, and then it's Mandy. And that's Mandy, chat. That's the film. Again, a lot to appreciate here. It's not going to be for everyone. I totally understand that. If you go in there knowing you're just going to see some crazy shit, that it's basically a fantasy story, straightforward fantasy story of revenge, just with a lot of LSD and a lot of just, moments where you're just watching just the scenery. If you go in with that, I think you'll enjoy the film a lot, because there's some crazy fucking moments in this movie. But that's Mandy, chat. I would give it a full price. I was thinking, I'm stuck between low full price because of the pacing or full price, but there are some amazing moments in this film, chat. I'm gonna give it a full price. Darkslayer, thank you for the 5 biddies!